This is the center of a center pivot irrigation system. Here's where we have a pipe coming out of the ground that brings the water, and the electricity comes out of the ground here too. This is a valve that turns the water on and off going to the pivot. Here's a control panel that runs the pivot where you can set the speed and direction. Then it rotates here on the top. The water comes up this pipe in the center and down the length of that pipe all the way to the end. Here's a close-up of the power switching box up at the top, and when the joint gets so far out of line, then it triggers the switches to turn the pivot on to make it line back up again. The wiring comes down the frame here into the motor in the center. Obviously, since the end one has a lot farther to go to get around, it runs more continually than this first one here, which runs very little. That's why there's smaller nozzles on this end than on the other end, so that it puts more water out where it's covering ground faster. Looking here out on the ground, you can see the little holes and dams that go down the furrow. And the purpose of this, if you can see over here, is to keep the water from running down the row, and you can see where it's spraying that the water ponds from these little holes, and that keeps the water in place instead of running to the low spot of the field. Here's one of the sources of our irrigation water. This is called the West Branch Canal. It's part of the Snake River Valley Irrigation District. It comes out of the Snake River. Here we have a field that's being watered with hand sprinkler lines. And here's a pivot over here and round. Here are two of our irrigation pumps. They're doing the water out of the canal, and these are the main lines that head across the canal and then go underground. There's a third pump, a whole different style. These rotating screens keep the trash out of the tank. This here is called a check. There's one of these about every half a mile along the canals, where boards is put in slots to hold the water back like little dams to keep the water level up for irrigation, so it doesn't all just run down fast. Keep the level up for the tungsten ratio. This plant here is asparagus, which grows wild down the canal banks. Here's a little piece of waste ground where my son and my nephews like to ride their motorcycles. This is just looking down across the field. Here's a stack of some sprinkler pipe. As you can see, this end of the pipe has a hook, and this end of the pipe has the socket it goes into and the little space where the hook latches. So when these are moved, they're unhooked, carried across about 50 feet, and then put back down and rehooked. This is a machine for fixing broken sprinkler pipe. There's a little scrap pile of all the smashed and broken pieces that have been cut out, and the pipes spliced together with a good section of pipe. Here's another close-up of a hand sprinkler line.